I am Daniel Wikis and welcome to Book 101. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years, and today I have my special guest. He's the author of several books, no other than Mr. Morton Leader.
How you doing? All right?
I'm fabulous like you, Mr. Morton.
Yeah, not too bad. I've had my new book out for over a week now, and sold a few, and I've got a few reviews on that coming in. So all positive. So happy days. But we're going to talk
Oh,
about an older one today, I think, aren't we?
that'd be awesome. So, which book do we gonna talk about today?
We're going to talk about Demons Are Forever, as always. Nice pun in the title, and yeah, it's a whodunit mystery.
Demons Are Forever. What behind the title?
So I'm in my 50s, and I find that people, as we get older now, your friends and your family and that, they've all got some hang-ups or some demons, whether it be alcohol or past relationships or gambling. I find that as you go on, with more and more of us have got our little demons, our little quirks that make us who we are, from shaped by past events. So this one here is about six people that meet, or is it seven? One, two, three, six, seven people that meet. They're in their mid-30s, and they've all got their own little sort of secret, their own little demon. And yeah, and one of them is her twin was murdered on a night out, and the last thing he ever said to her, like as he came off the life support, was the word Twix, which is a chocolate bar. I don't know if you have them over where in your part of the world. And it's just haunted her all alive because she thinks he was murdered, although the police never sort of found anybody. And as she moves back to her home city of Northampton in the Midlands in England, she sort of goes out clubbing again and with friends, and starts to think is someone that she's now around with to do with her brother's murder. And then we meet the individual characters and try and work out if they are and who it is.
And most of your readers can relate to the stories. And one of them said that great pacing and well written.
Yeah, I mean, it was the second book I wrote, so probably looking back, I think my writing style has developed in that, but it's my second longest book. This one's a bit longer than the others. It's about 45,000 words, I think. And yeah, like I said, I try and make characters realistic and relatable, and people that we all know.
Yes, and they said interesting characters. So, can you give us, let's say, each of individual characters one adjective?
Okay, so there's Joe, who is the sort of heroine of it. She's the one whose brother, Joey, was killed on his 21st birthday or 18th, I can't remember. Um, and she's, like I said, she's obsessed with his death, and it sort of like shapes her life a bit. She has to move out of her home city, and then she's got an old friend, um, who is having an affair, and she's sort of a successful HR woman, but she's quite fragile, and although she's like a tough businesswoman at work. And one of her friends is another woman who's addicted to scratch cards. She does her ironing for her. She's on the other side of the track, so to speak, and she's addicted to scratch cards. And then those three go out and they meet these four lads. One of them's an alcoholic. One of them's a bit possessive because the ex-girlfriend done him over. One of them's really adverse to violence, and the other one's got some weird fetish of underwear. So that's their all individual demons, hence the title.
Yes, and they said you have a depth knowledge in every story. How did you get those?
Well, this one, as I said, this one here, it starts off with someone getting a kick in, and as he falls, he hits his head on a paving slab or a breeze block, I think it is, and it puts him in a coma. And when he wakes up, the last thing he hears is someone shout out the word Twix, and and the reason for that is that back in the day, one of my friends we got into a fight in a nightclub, and this bloke called Niggles, I think he was called, he broke my friend's nose, and my friend wasn't happy about that, and he wanted to go and sort him out and all this sort of stuff. And we never did, but he was, if we ever saw him in a nightclub, it was like, right, let's go and get him and all this sort of stuff. And then about 6, 7 years later, a new person joined our group, and we got on with him really well and all this sort of stuff. And about 10 years after that, so after about 16 years after my friend got his nose broke, we were in a pub, and this Niggles bloke was in there, and our new friend went over and went, "All right, Dave," or whatever he was called, and we're going, "What do you? How do you know him?" And he knew him, and so he went to school with him, and he was friends with him, but we never knew because we always referred to this bloke by his nickname rather than his real name because we didn't know his real name. And it's just like, so I thought that was sort of like the start of why he's called Twix, and it's a nickname. And I've got a nickname, but I moved cities, so no one in Bristol calls me my nickname that everyone in Northampton calls me by. So when my friends from Northampton come down and they say, "Hey, Morph, do you want a beer?" all my Bristol friends are like, "Who's Morph?" Like, what are you talking about? So that was sort of like, and there's a reason why all of the males, we know it's a male that did it. There's a reason why they could all be called Twix. Like one of them works for Mars, one of them's a twin, and etc. It goes on, and she sort of in one of the chapters, someone calls one of the males like Twix, and she's like, "Twix," that's the last thing my brother said, and it sends her over the edge a bit. So yeah. So that's that was sort of, and I grew up in the late 80s, in the early 90s, and that I did a lot of clubbing and a lot of drinking, saw a lot of fighting and all those things that go on, and it's just sort of a reflection of that, some of the things I've experienced and seen, and I've put it into a book, of which I think people can relate to because we all used to go out and have a laugh, not like these youngsters.
Yes, and one of your readers said, interesting and intriguing story with lots of twists.
Yeah, like I said, it's each person could be, could be the killer or none of them. So I don't think there's anybody. Only my sister has said that she worked it out. Every review, no one's gone, "Yeah, it's them," and I knew it. So when I sell one or someone tells me they're reading it, I get them to direct message me which chapter they think they've worked it out, to see if they're online and that. But yeah, no one's actually guessed it. So which is what you really want from a whodunit, I guess.
Yes, and before we go on, Mr. Morton, I want to shout out to the people listening in Norway. Number 11 on Apple chart. Hong Kong at number 17. Estonia at number 25. Saudi Arabia at number 29. Mexico at number 44. Canada at number 53. And Panama at number 60. Kuwait at number 74. Trinidad and Tobago at number 78. Pakistan at number 98, and Hong Kong at number 76, and Lebanon at number 145.3. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast, because this podcast is created to empower writers all over the world like Mr. Morton Leader. So Mr. Morton, what is the best highlight of Demons Are Forever?
I'm proud of the twists, and how I put them in. there's some humour in there as well. You know, I like to put a bit of humour in there. I like to put some musical references as well. But I think, you know, I don't know what like I said, the highlight would be that, you know, no one can actually guess, or no one has guessed, you know, the who did it, which is the whole point of a whodunit, I guess.
So how many days and months you wrote this book?
This one probably took me about 3 months, I think. Like I said, it's a bit longer than my usual ones. It's you know, a third bigger, and yeah. But I just, like I said, it was the second one I wrote. So I wrote it when I was travelling, so I had plenty of time. So I was living in Borneo at the time, and I'd go out for a walk, have breakfast, you know, a roti or something, a roti chang, and then come back and write. So pretty quick, really. Writing in the pool, then writing, you know, then eating. So yeah, 3 months.
So how did you connect the 7 characters in one story?
So there's, you know, Joe comes back to Northampton, meets up with an old school friend who's friends with this other lady. They're all single, so they go out, and the 4 lads they all go biking together, you know, cycling. So and then when they've gone cycling, they go out for a beer, and they're all single. Well, one of them's married, one of them's divorced, 2 of them are single, and they just meet and by sharing a table in a pub, you know, and then get chatting from there, and then certain ones cop off with certain members of the female gang, and it goes on from there.
Yes, I think the way you connected it, your readers love it. If you want to modify the book itself, or after 10 years or after 5 years that you want to insert something on Demons Are Forever, which part of the book?
I think, like I say, it was the second one I wrote, and I think we've gone through this before, some of my other books and that, you know, I'm used to people swearing in everyday life, you know, so when I wrote it, I wrote how people would argue in a pub, and when you read it back, it's like, you know, lots of swearing. I think this one's actually got the C word, not cancer, the other C word in the prologue. But I thought if someone's going to throw up on your shoes, you know, you're not going to be calling them a cad, are you? You know, you're not going to go, "Oh, you rascal! You just threw up on my shoes," you know. So I don't know if some of the language does put people off, but I do want it to be sort of gritty and realistic. You know, I work with drivers and warehouse staff, and my friends are builders, electricians, and they swear a lot. I swear a lot at work.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know whether I should calm it. I think I've calmed it down a bit on my later books. You know, because when you read it back or you put it into a program that reads it back to you, it's like, Jesus, so much swearing in this. But you know, there's a Nigerian fella I work with, and he can't believe how much English people swear. He goes, I always thought the F word was you know, to be used in extreme. He says, but you lot just say it, you know, like that. Yeah. Move that effing van back. It's in the effing way, for F's sake. You know what I mean? But that's how it is every day.
Yes, it's one of your demons.
Yeah, it might be one of my demons. Yeah, I think every character in it's got one of my demons. But you know, I think when somebody read it, they went like trying to work out. Oh, that was it. My mum read it, and she said, "Oh, I'm trying to work out who's who in," because she obviously knows my friends. And I said, "Don't worry about it." I said, "They're all me."
So Demons Are Forever. If you compare to other books that you wrote, what's the big difference?
To be quite honest, you know, I write. I've written 3 sort of supernatural ones. My latest one's a horror, Snakes and Ladders. That's a horror. History is a Lie is a conspiracy sort of mythological vampire Illuminati, and Always Judge a Book by Its Cover is about witches and a magical ring. But Demons Are Forever, Delilah Bitch and the Warmonger, More Than You Can Chew, are all whodunits. You know, one starts off with someone getting, Demons Are Forever starts off with someone getting kicked in and ultimately dying. More Than You Can Chew starts off with someone cable tied to a chair and a plastic bag over their head, so suffocating. and the Light of the Bishop and the Warmonger starts with someone getting stabbed in the street, and then we work backwards to try and work out who's doing these deeds, So it's not particularly different to in theme, They're about people and people's reactions and people getting into situations that they probably wish they hadn't.
Yes. So, which chapter are you having difficulty writing with?
Which, sorry, what? It's always difficult in the middle, because you know where it starts. This one's actually got a proper prologue and an epilogue, and sometimes I see on Twitter people saying, "Should books have prologues?" And I think a prologue is a scene setter that happens with probably a few years before the actual bulk of the book. You know what I mean? So this one happens. 1994, I think, and then she moves back 10 years, 15 years later, So, but the event is very important. So, I knew how it was going to start. I knew how it was going to end. And then the tricky bit is I like to put a clue in every chapter. I mean, I don't know whether people pick up on it or not, but there should be a clue. Yeah, every chapter has, in my view, has something going on that leads to the ultimate end, and should be giving you a clue, whether it's someone's dog barking and you think, well, I didn't know they had a dog, and then hold on a minute, or whatever it is, or they used to, steal cars and then hijack to have a hot wire car, So every chapter has to have a clue in it, or something major to move the story along. But there's a clue in every chapter, but people still can't work it out, which is good. But yeah, the middle bit's always tricky, I think.
Yes. As a writer of different genre, which genre the most fun writing with?
I mean, I like it. So all mine have got plenty of twists and turns, and I think one review said you never know who's going to die, no matter how important they are. A bit like Game of Thrones, I suppose. Like you never know who's going to cop it and that. But it's I do like coming up with a good twist, subverting the expectation, but within the realms of realism, So I think in The Light of the Bishop and the Warmonger, he pays these lads to go down and smash up this pub, get into a fight and smash it up. And they go in there and it's full of beautiful Brazilian women, and they decide that they want to date these ladies rather than smash the pub up, So they actually end up getting a fight between themselves because one of them chats up one of the ladies that the other one fancied, So they went down there to start a fight, and they ended up fighting amongst themselves, and it's sort of, I was quite pleased with that chapter. So yeah, I just enjoy getting a realistic, subverting expectation, getting a realistic twist in there. Not something like, well, where the hell did that person come from and what's going on there, but a twist that could happen.
Yes. So, do you think in the future, what genre do you want to write?
I just write anything that entertains me, really. I like what I watch and what I read. I like history. I like thrillers. I like science fiction. I like my favourite TV programs are like The Sopranos, Babylon 5, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, The Wire. The Next Generation. All stuff I grew up on. So as long as it's I like to think I write simply but with complex stories. So my next one's another whodunit. It's called Two Truths and a Lie, and I've probably done about 28,000 words on that now. So probably another 4,000 to go to get to my usual length of 126 pages. But yeah, just twisty, things that make you think, really. And where's this going? And enjoyable. Hopefully.
Yes. So before we go on, I want to invite my listeners on Book 101 Review to listen to my other podcast, Food 101, on our third season with Chef Alessandro. It's one of the executive chef in one of the five-star hotel in downtown Toronto. And Food 101 is on the top 1.5% popular show globally. And I'm inviting you, please do check it out, Food 101. So, Mr. Morton, what
Yeah.
age do you remember that you are good in writing?
Well, I think that's still up for debate. To be fair, you know, it's a pleasure. Every review you get is just like mind blowing. Really, I mean, you read some statistics that you know an independent author will sell 20 books in their lifetime or something like that. You know, I'm up to I'm still way below a lot of other people, a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter and things like that. You know, and am I jealous of them? Yeah, I am. You know, I see they've got like 120 reviews and things like that. But I don't really market it. You know, I don't spend any money with deals and stuff like that. I just put them out there. I see it as my hobby. You know, um, yeah, am I a good writer? I've got no idea. That's for other people to judge, really. But I think I tell a good story. I tell a good story down the pub as well. Do you know what I mean? So I just, you know, when you see things, I haven't got imposter syndrome, that's for sure. Some people go on about that, but you know, when you see things, people going like, "Oh, a natural storyteller" and things like that, it does play your ego up a bit, you know. But I just like to entertain people, you know, whether it's a meal or a night out with friends or a night out of work and that. I like to think I'm quite entertaining, and you know, and a lot of the things I put in my books are based on things that have actually happened. They might be exaggerated a little bit, or they might be calmed down a little bit. That's up to the reader to decide. So yeah, so I don't know. It's a hobby. It keeps me entertained. My job is fairly easy from what I used to do. You know, I used to run a depot and profit and loss accounts and marketing and sackings and dismissals and all that sort of stuff. And now I just go in, do my little bit of job, see the lorries out, and then I've got all the time to myself to sort of think. So it's good that my writing keeps my brain active, and I'm always writing. You know, and on the journey to work and from work, and see something, I think, oh, that's handy. You know, even if I hit a pothole, I think, right, I need to put that in. Perhaps I'm going to have a puncture, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So, who is your mentor?
I haven't got one. I might lie. I think, yeah, fair play to. I've got to mention my mum. You know what I mean? Because like I'm the third youngest, so by the time I was 5, I had a 10-year-old brother and an 8-year-old sister. So I probably stayed up and watched TV's programs and things that I shouldn't have at the age of 5, you know. But I think parents give up by the third one, don't they? And you know, so you know, we're always a family that's read and taught. You know, I ring my mum now and she'll talk to me about the books she's reading, you know, in great detail. So we're always taught. There's no quiet times in my family. And we talk about books and films and movies and TV shows that we enjoy, and then we critique them and rip them apart. Normally, you know, like a pitch meeting. But yeah, no. So yeah, she, you know, and I do when I finish the book, she's the first person I send it to, and she goes like, "Well, I found this a bit weird," or "Why would she do that?" You know, or "What have you thought about this ending?" So yeah, probably my mum, to be fair.
Yes, sounds interesting. So, demons are forever. What else you can say about it?
Well, it's on Kindle. It's reasonably priced, £2. It's on paperback as well. And here's an interesting fact. I actually drew the cover on this one. I was trying to explain to someone what I wanted, and I drew it, and I thought actually that's what I want. And if you look, so it's a skull with a brain, and in the brain there's like a dark bit, which is like a sort of demon with wings, like connecting them all together. And like I said, it's about, you know, it's about as we all get older and how perhaps that girl that we didn't ask out when we were 17, how it comes back to haunt you, and you think, oh, I should have, you know, she was the one, or how people develop gambling addictions or bingo or scratch cards or whatever, you know, and how people get hung up on relationships. And you know, and I think when you look at social media these days and that, people, you know, they get in contact with their partner from, you know, their ex from 15 years ago, and think they're going to walk straight back in when they let off. And you think, well, that's not going to happen. You know, so much has changed in
Yes.
15 years. You know, they've lost a bit of hair or put a bit of weight on, or a couple of kids, or a divorce down, or, you know, or they're richer, or been promoted, and just so many different things, you know. And, you know, I think because it's so easy to contact people these days, you know, people do, and I think they're going to pick up with a 16, yeah, the 16-year-old, and they're not 16 anymore, you know. So things have changed, and that's what the book's about.
Yes. So, what do you think? Demons Are Forever is good for a series or good for a movie?
Yeah, I think it'd be a cracking Sunday night drama, put into 3 parts, you know. Yeah, it's you know it could have a great soundtrack. It starts off with Britpop, Oasis, and all that, and then 15 years later, out clubbing, dancing some classics. So yeah, you know, yeah, I think it'd be a good 3-parter on a Sunday night. You know, like I said, no one's read it as a guest who's did commit the the beating up, which ultimately led to their death. So I don't know whether it's a murder or not. I don't know officially, but yeah, I think it'd be a good TV show or a one-off film. Netflix, here we come.
Yes. So, Demons Are Forever. Is it expandable, or there will be a sequel, or there will be a prequel?
There might be a prequel because the prologue covers that. Sequel, I mean, the story's told, you know, and I think at the end, you know, whatever's happened, they've all still got their demons. You know, you know, one of them's gone back to his wife, but he's fantasizing about the one that somebody else, and you know, the one that, you know, the one that's having an affair. She's pregnant. She doesn't know who the dad is, and you know, so and the alcoholic, he's you know, didn't go to the funeral because he's in rehab, but he's sort of gone, oh, he would have wanted me to have a drink. So even though these circumstances have happened and someone else dies and whatever, everyone's still got their demon. You know, nothing's changed.
Yes. So, where do people buy your book, Mr. Martin?
Yeah, it's on Kindle Unlimited, Kindle through Amazon, and also paperback through Amazon. And if you really want, you can contact me, and I'll post you a back copy as well. UK only.
Yes, people, let's support Mr. Martin later, because if you support them, they will give their best. So, Mr. Martin, as an independent publisher, what are the benefits?
Well, you can do what you want. It's so easy. You know, you write it, you upload it. It's all free. You know, it's dead easy. You know, yeah, and there's so many great indie voices out there, and I think I've said it before. You know, you look at the bestsellers, and it's like some bloke off the telly that runs a quiz, or it's Stephen King, and you know, the same old faces, and I think there's just so many fresh voices out there, independents, who are a lot cheaper as well. You know, and just give them a go. So, you know, the different voices. That's what I think is the advantage.
So, what do you think also the negative?
Negative is there's about 1 billion of us, I think, and we're all competing for the same market. You know, if you see someone on Twitter says, "Oh, give me a book recommendation," and it just goes bang, 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 bang. You know, and obviously they haven't got unlimited wallets, so I think, yeah, there's 1 million independent authors out there. Obviously, there's different genres. There's young adult, there's romance, there's poetry, there's whatever. So you're not fighting everyone because not everyone's writing the same. But to get noticed is very tricky. You know, and I suppose we're all chasing the same market. I don't think it's about the money for most of them. It's about recognition and getting people to enjoy your work. You know, until you get that deal. But yeah, it's a tough market, and the major book houses, or whatever you want to call it, publishing houses, they just like to play it safe, like the movie industry these days. So that's what you're up against.
So do you think in the future you will go to traditional publishing?
I doubt it. I'm just gonna, like I said, I see it as a hobby and that, and I just appreciate everybody that downloads it and then reads it and enjoys it and leaves a review. You know, any of them, it really makes your day. You wake up in the morning, and it's like another review, and it pops up there, and someone says, "Oh, what a great story!" That's all you need. You know what I mean? And it just makes your day. You know, all that hard work.
Yes. So as a prolific writer, what is your encouragement for those beginners want to publish their story?
I think one of my old bosses, you know, when we used to put a new project in, we'd be on it for like 6 months, and at some point you got to go, right, let's just do it now. We can't keep altering the parameters of the computer program or relaying the warehouse or whatever. We've got to go for it. So don't let perfection be the enemy of good, as he used to say. You know, you can't keep. You know, if there's a typo, there's a typo. You know, what I mean, you'd be amazed. You can send it to editors and proofreaders and read it yourself 1,000 times, and then you publish it, and you go, "Oh God, I've put Toady instead of today," you know, and something like that. So, yeah, go for it. Be brave. Don't pander to other people. Write what you want to write, and get it out there as people, because people might like it, you know, and don't sort of. You know, don't shoot for the stars, because you know it ain't gonna happen overnight unless you're very, very lucky. I would have thought. Just get it out there and let people enjoy it.
Yes, people listen to Mr. Morton because he's a prolific writer and and more books to come, right, Mr.
Yeah, I've got another 4 finished, which I need to start editing. You know, so I just banged them out, and I need to go back and look at them. So, and my short stories as well. So yeah, all good.
So, Mr. Morton, please invite our listeners to buy your book.
Yeah, so as previous and that, you know, if you want an adult themed with swear words, murder, mystery, twists and turns, you know, they're on Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and paperback. You know, check them out. I've got 7 books out there now. All of them are £2, apart from History is a Lie, which is £3. So they're a bargain. 2 hours worth of entertainment, depending on how fast you read. It might be 6 hours. But yeah, appreciate any help and support. And if you do, please review. And if you don't read mine, read other people's. Make sure you review them as well.
Yes, let's support writers all over the world, because if you support them, they give their best, come timeless novel.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Morton, thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
Morton people, see you soon.
Cheers. Bye-bye.